Okay. So as my sister mentioned earlier, we have the accountant, the mathematician, and I'm the legal side. So I obviously full on printed out my speech, all formal, all folded up. Sorry, I'm tall. Okay, so I'm gonna just start. So good evening, everyone. I hope you're having a great time. I thank you all for coming, celebrating my brother and my new sister's beautiful wedding. I had a line about cheese bread, but unfortunately, Stephen kind of dropped the ball on that. So I hope you enjoyed your meats and pineapple, and you long for cheese bread. We'll get it at a different occasion. It's fine. And again, I'm Joshua. There are a lot of new faces I don't recognize or I haven't met you. I'm sorry. I'll get to everyone. But I'm Stephen's youngest brother and his best man. And I've known Stephen Jacob, or Jake, however you want to call him, Jakey. That's a newer one. But I've known him my whole life. And since I always can remember, him and I shared the same room. Now, obviously, that's up until recently, you know. He has a new roommate. She's nice. They get along really well, but I know I was his favorite, and I'm sorry, Melanie. Okay. But as we grew, so did our beds. We started with the 2 race car beds, the absolute classic, that was then upgraded into our favorite, the bunk bed. And for some reason, I had to be on the top bunk, even though I was the chubbier kid growing up, and I struggled to make it up that ladder. And fun fact, our Airbnb that we've been staying at has bunk beds. First thing I did, I claimed the bottom bunk. Okay. That was short-lived because as soon as he got into high school, he got older, he didn't like me anymore, so we split the beds side by side. And I was obviously happy because I was no longer out of breath getting into my own bed every night. But as we matured, not only did our beds change, so did the room itself. We added posters of our favorite sports teams, favorite athletes. We added video game consoles and new video games. And we even added a few new holes in the wall and in our door. And the door. And I say we for a reason. Now, Stephen, there was one specific night where I was laying in bed and you were playing Call of Duty Modern Warfare. This was the first COD game we ever got, the OG, and it pissed him off to no extent, the amount of things I heard my brother say. That's besides the point. Personally, I was never allowed to play them. One, because our mom thought they were too dangerous, which there's research, she might have been right, whatever. Second, Stephen, you said if I ever touched your account or played on it, I'd ruin your 2.0 KDA in Call of Duty, which is kind of like his record if it was like a sports game. So he was right, I sucked. But since I couldn't play and I was an awesome brother, and I still am, I'd watch him play and I'd cheer him on. And since also because I couldn't play, I made my own game. Now, one specific night, and there were many, he was not doing well. And when Stephen played these games, he was the most verbal one could be. So you could hear him across the house saying whatever he was saying about the game, how it was doing, what these people were doing to him, these enemies. Now, I noticed that there was one night where you were getting ready to throw that controller. You weren't quite there, but I could see it and I could hear it, and this is where my game would begin. So it started off nothing crazy. He'd just be saying whatever he was saying, not enjoying himself, even though it was a video game. And I would just make him repeat himself. Because you know, if you start repeating the bad things, they hurt more. A little psychological warfare from a younger brother. Okay? And then as soon as the game ended, or the round ended, and he was kind of calming down, and be like, dude, you freaking sucked. You got pwned, for those of you who know the lingo. And as soon as he kind of processed what I said, controller, wall, I was getting rushed. And like, yeah, you'd beat the crap out of me, but as a younger brother, that's the greatest feeling in the world. And that's why I say we added a few new holes in the wall, because I was responsible for at least 2 or 3 of those. Okay, but I digress. And when we were ready to leave, the room was emptied. And although we are living our own lives now, I still admire and try to exemplify things that I learned or saw from you. One quality in particular that I always admired about my older brother was his ability to push forward. You know, whatever roadblock was thrown in his way, whatever challenges you were presented with, you always pushed forward and you fought through it. You never stopped, you never let these things bring you down. You brought our family back together. You did a lot of things for our family, and I admire you for that. And personally, I'd be remiss if I didn't quote anime at least once in my speech after all the Taylor Swift references earlier by Brittany. In the words of the great Eren Yeager, Tatakai. I'm not done. We have the bride. Now on to his beautiful bride, Melanie. I'm very grateful for you and for your love for my brother. You two make such an extraordinary couple, and I still remember the day when he officially met you. And we've mentioned this before, how Steven's not the most vocal, but personally, I remember texting you about whatever Gator sport was happening that Saturday. It was probably basketball or a crappy football season. And randomly, he mentions a girl that our dad used to teach from Freedom High School. And again, now keep in mind, Steven and I would talk all the time, sports, anime, whatever was happening in school, but not once would he bring up a freaking girl to me whenever we were talking or texting. So I was like, what the hell is going on right now? He was coaching too. He didn't talk about his athletes, how the wrestling tournament was going. He's like, how do I talk to this girl? I'm like, I don't know. I'm as antisocial as you are. His whole time he was trying to brainstorm ways to talk to this girl. And I had never seen my brother so captivated or head over heels about someone like this before. Not even Tim Tebow. So from the very start, Melanie, I knew you made such an impression on him and you were very special to his heart. And I am pleased to have been able to see your love for each other grow since that day and for it to continue to grow as you two experience your life together. You have helped him become more social and outgoing, and as it was mentioned earlier, you even somehow got him to expand his palate when all he would eat as a kid was mac and cheese or chicken nuggets. I really never thought I would see the day where Steven would eat and enjoy things like sushi and guacamole. But again, here we are, and he's eating Brazilian barbecue. I thank you for all that you have done for my brother and for my family. You have been a wonderful addition to our family, and I'm very happy to be able to officially call you my sister. Now, if everyone would raise their glass, I wish you both a wonderful marriage full of plenty more reasons to celebrate from this day forward. I love you both, and to Steven and Melanie.